something that I should be able, body is something that I should be able to keep in a good shape at all times, then we all should fear loss of body weight that essentially comes out of the loss of losing bone and losing muscle. Most of us who have crossed 30, we are all heavier today than what we were at 20, but not because we gained more muscle and gained more bone, but because we lost more muscle and lost more bone. So we have to ensure that we have to know that the only way to look thin, the only way to look skinny is to be really, really heavy on both the muscle and the bone. Because एक muscle ही ऐसी चीज है जो gravity के against उठता है, बाकी fat gravity के साथ झुकता है, and eventually, you know, if we do too much dieting all the time, we may not realize it right now because we are still young, you know, we are in our 20s, in our 30s, in our 40s, but by the time we are 60, we become like this. By the time we are 70, we are like this. 80 tak, upper back starts saying hello to people because it bends that much. Because that's what happens to us when we lose bone and muscle weight. So do not weigh yourself. Will you promise me that? And if you do want to weigh yourself, you can just leave right now. ये अच्छा मौका है, नीचे मस्त म्यूजिक बज रहा है, उसको enjoy करो. So if you are ready, but now you have to take a promise. You have to give me a promise. Will you give me a promise? Pakka? Okay, so then you all stand up. Okay, you repeat, okay, after me. I will never, ever stand on the weighing scales, but I will stand on my own two legs. Okay, well done. To carry your own weight, once you're dead, we give you 4 people, they will carry you. Okay, and then whether you're 50 kilos or 100 kilos, it doesn't matter. आपके लिए 4 लोग हमेशा रहेंगे. Yeah. So while you're around, make sure that you're actually able to carry your own body weight. You're not turning out to be one of those people who's constantly looking के ट्रेन में जब हम लोग खड़े रहते हैं, we want to go out and stand. Why? Because we want किसी का सहारा. Or you know, if you are standing, we want to like, कौन है जो मेरा body weight currently झेलेगा? Okay, so we are constantly looking for a chair, we are looking for some backdrop, we are looking for something to rest ourselves on, and the more we do that, the more we lose out on our bone and muscle weight. The more we lose out on our bone and muscle weight, the heavier we start getting. So if you are a woman, then you will start getting fat from the sides of your thighs. If you are a man, then you will start getting big from the stomach. Okay, दोनों का बाद में equal हो जाता है. Okay, but initially this is how it starts. इसीलिए अपने आप है ना, कभी-कभी I don't know, but if you've seen this, sometimes you see someone riding a bike, you can't make out लड़की है कि लड़का है. Everything looks the same. Yeah, so that's what this whole thing does to us, not being able to stand on our own feet. So stand. Okay, what direction you walk in is important. If you're worried, not worried, if your interest is in knocking fat weight and keeping it off forever, then you must never weigh yourself. तो किस-किस के घर पे weighing scale है? क्या बात है? घर पे weighing scale रखने का, weight loss का talk आके सुनने का. You know, no wonder we are all fat. So what you must now do is go home and dump the scale. Yeah, नाम dump, scale dump करते वक्त मुझे याद करना. और जो पैसा मिलेगा तुमको 1000 रुपया, 500 रुपया, वो उसका मेरे नाम से कुछ चाय, कॉफी कुछ भी लेना. But do that, sell that off today. Okay, do not measure yourself. The more you weigh yourself, the more you lose your muscle. The more muscle you lose, the more you lose your ability to be insulin sensitive. You know what is insulin sensitive? Do you know what is insulin resistance? Do you know diabetes? Diabetes में क्या होता है? High blood sugar होता है, correct? इंसुलिन क्या करता है? इंसुलिन जो ब्लड में शुगर है उसको पिकअप करके ऐसे सारे सेल्स में लेके जाता है जिन सेल्स को उसकी ज़रूरत होती है। जब इंसुलिन इनसेंसिटिव हो जाता है या जब इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंट हो जाता है तो ब्लड में शुगर बढ़ती है पर इंसुलिन काम नहीं कर रहा है. इट डजंट वांट टू पिक अप द शुगर एंड टेक इट टू वेरियस प्लेसेस. नाउ वंस दैट हैपेंस इज व्हेन वी ऑल स्टार्ट गेनिंग वेट. Once we get insulin resistance is when weight gain happens. When we get insulin resistant is when PCOD and thyroid happens. When we get insulin resistant is when diabetes happens. And when we get insulin resistant, we are now discovering, is also when heart diseases and cancer happens. Essentially, ऐसी कोई भी बीमारी जो एक दूसरे को छूने से नहीं फैलती है, वो सारी बीमारियाँ come from insulin resistance. Insulin resistance comes from not using your body. More specifically, losing your bone weight and your muscle weight. So the more you get obsessed with losing bone and muscle weight, the more you will crash diet, the more you will exercise the wrong way, and the more insulin resistant you will become. इसीलिए हम हर कोई आज ऐसा आदमी हो गया है कि जो बार बार किसी डाइट पे रहता है. पहले एक डाइट किया, 7 किलो कम किया, फिर वो डाइट छोड़ा और खाली बालकनी में जाके हवा लिया तो 8 किलो बढ़ गया. ओके, देन वी गो ऑन टू अनदर डाइट वेयर दिस टाइम नो मैटर हाउ हार्ड वी वर्क अपना खाली 5 किलो कम होता है. फिर वापस खाली फोन पे किसी ने बोला पेस्ट्री तो वजन बढ़ गया. ओके, तो उसके बाद में हमने और एक कोई डाइट किया वेयर वी वर्कड जस्ट एज हार्ड बट दिस टाइम इंस्टेड ऑफ 5 किलोज वी आर फाइंडिंग इट डिफिकल्ट टू नॉक ऑफ इवन 2 किलोज. हुआ है कि नहीं सबके साथ? या एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड एज, this makes us 85% of the population. 85% of the population is not able to keep the weight off. Why are they not able to keep the weight off? Because we are constantly looking to lose weight. So now no longer lose weight, work at gaining weight, gain the weight of your muscle and bone back. Then you will gain the insulin sensitivity. If you have insulin sensitivity, you will no longer have the issues of PCOD, thyroid, blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, etc. So is that clear? Okay. So here comes the second thing. What really ensures कि हम लोग का muscle रहेगा अपने body पे? Exercise. Okay, I really feel कि मुंबई एक ऐसी जगह है because it is supposed to be the city, the smartest city, right? We are so smart that we don't even make it to the smart city thing. We are so smart और भगवान की हमारे पे इतनी दया है that भगवान also knows कि भाई जो आदमी मुंबई में रहता है उसके पास ज़्यादा हिलने डुलने का टाइम नहीं रहता है. इसीलिए जब हम लोग लोकल में भी खड़ा रहते हैं तो लोकल ट्रेन अपने को हिलाती है so that we don't have to do anything on our own. तो थोड़ा बहुत तो we'll end up using our muscle. When we don't, we go in the front and we get shouted at, अरे pressure आ रहा है pressure, you know. So then we go back, right? But imagine there is no other city in the world where there is mass transport to move you. We have mass transport, cheap mass transport, जो कि तुमको खड़ा खड़ा हिलाता है. I don't know if you remember this, but years ago जब ये सब टीवी पे एड्स आते थे, you know, there used to be one thing called morning walker. जो पब्लिक लेट के टीवी देखता था, मॉर्निंग वॉकर उसको हिलाता था. And people used to feel, हाँ इससे मेरा ब्लड प्रेशर कम होगा, इससे मेरा सब कुछ कम हो जाएगा. सिर्फ अकल और शक्ल दोनों कम हो जाती है with these kind of things. So what is it that we should do? We must adopt exercise. Now what kind of exercise? The kind of exercise which has the courage to allow us to gain weight in terms of our bone and muscle. Do not go to exercise professionals which tell you कि चल तू 500 कैलोरी बर्न कर, मैं तेरे को weight loss guarantee करते हैं. We do not need a weight loss guarantee. What we really need is a guarantee that if I work out, I will gain my bone and muscle. Because insulin resistance is what I want to fight. When I lose muscle, I lose insulin resistance. If I lose my insulin sensitive output. कि पहले जब हम जवान थे, क्योंकि एक समय पे हम जवान भी थे, okay? Could you remember this? Picking up your siblings and throwing them on the bed. Yeah? आज तुम अपने सिबलिंग को उठा सकते हो not because she has gained weight, but because you have lost your muscle strength, the maximal output. So when your children, like this one who's sleeping here, or you who didn't know but he ran, and then there is one more. So when all of these people are throwing each other on the bed, celebrate it, because who knows, they may not be able to do it 25 years later. And when your children are throwing each other on the bed, say, ये सीख लेना 25 साल के बाद भी ऐसे ही करना है तुमको. Okay, because if 25 years later you're not able to do this, and 25 years later if your sibling doesn't know how to take a fall because someone threw her down or threw him down, then it means you're being a poor parent, because a good parent is the one who promotes physical activity, constant physical activity. So if we have to promote it for our children, we have to, unfortunately for us, say तुम्हारा strength बढ़ना चाहिए. I hate it when even in 2016 women come with preconceived notions that they will turn into a man because they lifted weights. Right? I mean, come on. On the one hand, we are all for women's liberation, blah blah blah. Has any woman ever felt, मैं अगर पैसा कमाऊंगी तो मैं मर्द हो जाऊंगी? We want to earn more. So similarly, we should also earn more in terms of our strength. Weight training doesn't turn us into men, it turns us more and more into women. Really strong women are the really skinny women. Have you ever seen a village woman with a stack of wood on her head? What is the size of her waist? This narrow. How much weight is she lifting? At least 3 times her body weight. हम लोग खुद के बॉडी वेट के अंदर भी स्क्वाट नहीं कर सकते. 3 हो गया तो हम लोग फॉरगेट इट यार, यू नो, 4th नहीं होएगा. नॉट जस्ट दैट, हम लोग एक स्क्वाट भी नहीं कर पाते हैं, और उसी के वजह से वी डोंट इवन हैव द इंडियन टॉयलेट इन आवर होम्स एनी मोर. वी नीड टू हैव समथिंग विच इज ओनली दिस मच. यहाँ तक हम बैठ पाएंगे, नीचे तक नहीं जाने को बोला. So we are losing this ability. That's the ability that we need to regain. So strength train, go to a gym, and do not be scared of gaining muscle. If you don't gain muscle, you will not regain the lost insulin sensitivity. Is that clear? Then the second thing is that if you want to do yoga, yoga is a great exercise, but yoga also needs to be a challenge. It cannot be about sitting in front of a TV, closing your eyes and rubbing your nails against each other. Yeah? और उससे कुछ तो मैजिकली ग्रो होता है. आई डोंट नो क्या होता है, सफ़ेद बाल काले हो जाते हैं, या टकले पे बाल आते हैं, या जो भी है, बट ऑब्वियसली नन ऑफ दैट इज हैपनिंग, राइट? तो हमको क्या करना चाहिए? हैव यू हर्ड ऑफ Iyengar yoga? There are tons of Iyengar yoga classes in Mumbai. They are beautiful classes. You can go for it. If not Iyengar yoga, you can go for any of the traditional schools of yoga. So then there is Bihar school of yoga, there is the Shivananda school of yoga. So look out again for a yoga class where weight loss is not the motive. So you need a teacher who's able to tell you that first we will help you strengthen, gain your flexibility, blah blah blah, and not a teacher who will say कि तुम कपालभाति करो तुम्हारा पेट कम हो जाएगा. Because at least when Hatha Yoga Pradapika was written, Kapalbhati was not written for losing weight from the stomach. Losing weight for the stomach के लिए पहला पैर strong होना चाहिए, तभी you can lose weight from the stomach. So is that clear? How much exercise do you need? You need at least 150 minutes of exercise per week. उतना टाइम है सबके पास? 150. So 2.5 hours of exercise per week. Everyone can make time. जिसके भी पास उतना टाइम नहीं है, वो सब लोग अपने अपने सेल फोन्स मुझे देके जाओ. Because all the time that we spend on the phone, I think we spend 150 minutes per day on our phones. And if you really want to know what is it that gets us to become fatter and fatter every passing year, I have 3 S's for you: sitting, stressing, smartphoning. Okay? तो ये तीनों का इन्फ्लुएंस अपने डेली लाइफ में कम करो. कम बैठो, कम स्ट्रेस लो, कम फोन यूज करो. आजकल, you know, even when I go to any place for a talk, the people have come for the talk, okay? Even the person who's sitting right there opens the phone and starts recording. Because अभी अपना खुद के दिमाग से full faith ही उड़ गया है. We feel मेरे को तो याद नहीं रहने वाला है, phone पे record हो जाएगा तो फिर बाद में आराम से bathroom में देख लेंगे. Because आजकल हम लोग को bathroom में बहुत time लगता है. Yeah, so don't sit as much, don't stress as much, don't use the smartphone as much. If you don't sit and smartphone use as much, you will have 150 minutes of exercise to spare. How do you plan for these how do you ensure that you're doing these 150 minutes of exercise? You ensure that you're doing these 150 minutes of exercise by planning for it. सबने अभी तक PPF भर दिया कि नहीं? हाँ, हम लोग ने PPF भर दिया, हमने टैक्स का प्लानिंग पे किया, हम लोगों ने LIC का सब कुछ कर दिया. Why do we end up paying taxes? How come we'll end up paying PPF year after year? Because we plan for it for the entire year. एक ऐसी चीज है जिसे न्यूट्रिशन साइंस में एंटी न्यूट्रिएंट करके जाना जाता है. एंटी न्यूट्रिएंट्स वो सारी चीजें होते हैं. Now, according to the weight loss industry, what thing in the Panchamrit is still a healthy thing? Everything is unhealthy. And we are all दही, पर वो भी जो प्रोबायोटिक वाला जो पैकेट में आता है, आपको तो घर में लगाना है ही नहीं. ओके, बिकॉज दही कौन से दूध का लगता है? उसी दूध का लगता है जिसमें गुड बैक्टीरिया रहता है टू बिगिन विथ. आजकल हम लोग इतने हाइजीन के पीछे पागलों की तरह भाग रहे हैं that we are not even able to make dahi out of the milk that comes to our homes. So milk is a good thing, but like all things, we have to ensure that we are getting milk from the right place. So what's the right place? The local दूध वाला भैया. ओके, तो गाय का मिल्क, देसी गाय का मिल्क अगर आपको मिल सकता है आप ले लो. फ्रॉम व्हाट आई नो, इन द जैन समाज they have started this milk collecting facility somewhere close to Pune. It's called Kesar Ganga, near Taregaon. So it's called Kesar Ganga. They're helping small local farmers. देसी गाय का मिल्क वो लोग मुंबई तक लेके आ रहे हैं. You can either do that, or if you simply search देसी cow milk Mumbai, you will get many things on Google. तो Google की आप हेल्प लीजिए. अगर आपको देसी cow milk नहीं मिल रहा है तो then you can have देसी buffalo, but do not have milks which are coming from Jersey or Holstein. So that's the bad kind of milk. See, having milk is like doing शादी. शादी चलेगी कि नहीं, डिपेंड्स कौन सी लड़की है. ओके, सो सिमिलरली मिल्क अच्छा है कि नहीं, डिपेंड्स कहाँ से आया है. तो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट योर मिल्क कम्स फ्रॉम द राइट प्लेस, बट अदरवाइज मिल्क इज गुड. यस, So she went to a seminar where she was told that if you have PCOD तो तुमको gestational diabetes होएगा. फिर क्या, and it is not curable, and it is, I'll give you the chance, and osteoporosis होएगा, blah 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 blah, बहुत कुछ हो जाएगा. See, I really feel that unfortunately हम लोग जब डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं, डॉक्टर हमको पूरा अपना जन्म कुंडली निकाल के बताता है what all can go wrong in future. खाली तुम एक दिन मरोगे ये छोड़ के, वाकई वो लोग सब कुछ बोल देते हैं. बिकॉज वॉट द ओनली थिंग दैट इज अ गारंटी इन लाइफ इज कि जिसने भी जन्म लिया है वो मरेगा. बाकी बीच में क्या होएगा नो वन कैन टेल. ना कोई फॉर्चून टेलर बता सकता है, ना कोई डॉक्टर बता सकता है, ना कोई डाइटिशियन बता सकती है, ना कोई गूगल का रिपोर्ट बता सकता है. नो वन एल्स कैन टेल यू दिस. So I'm so happy that first of all they told you that with PCOD you will get gestational diabetes, because most of the times I heard that now that you have PCOD you will never get pregnant. I was working with a 9th standard girl जिसका semester exam चालू था. She came to me and she said, you know, my doctor said I will never get pregnant. मैं like, तेरे you are in 9th standard, तो पहले तेरा semester exam है, you know, you can think about pregnancy later, and I don't even know if you want to get pregnant once you grow up. It's a choice. It is not something that you have to do, you know. So anyways, having said that, if you are able to reverse insulin resistance, which you can through eating right, through working out, through less stress and stuff like that, by not losing weight but gaining bone and muscle density, then of course you can get rid of most of the lifestyle conditions. PCOD, thyroid both come into that category. We work with multiple people who have been able to reduce their dosages and finally they're off their dosages. They get their period every month, they have no problem, they get pregnant when they want to, you know, they don't get osteoporosis and all of those things, but you have to work in your daily life. Yeah, I mean there is, and even if you don't have PCOD you have to work, right? So that's the thing, but don't believe in all of these, tumko aage jaake kya kya hoega. Okay, yes. Just eating dry banana, but you're also supporting the East Indian community, which is currently dwindling in their numbers and really trying hard to keep up with their culture. One of the things in their culture is this whole business of selling sukeris. Okay, तो हमारे local businesses vanish हो रहे हैं और सब जगह से global chains ही आ रही है. या तो जितना local खाएंगे उतना it is healthier. Yeah, I read your email. So you need to come deficient. Most of us are vitamin D deficient. Some of us are critically low, but almost none of us is adequate. And then we are turning into women who have too much testosterone, and we are turning into men who have slow sperms. ये सब कुछ कहाँ से हुआ? ये सब, this whole cholesterol scare, not having adequate amount of cholesterol, so-called cholesterol in our diet, और ऐसा है नहीं कि मलाई में सिर्फ cholesterol है और फिर इसमें सिर्फ B12 है और उसमें सिर्फ विटामिन D है और उसमें सिर्फ प्रोटीन है. Nutrients exist together. Nutrition science is a new science. Till now, we don't even know the names of all the nutrients that exist. We don't eat anything and you take the thyroid medication, but you can drink water. That's one. The second thing is that if you have a good doctor, the doctor will also recommend exercise. Okay, and if the doctor is recommending exercise, and if the only time that you can exercise in the morning, then you speak to your doctor. Most doctors are willing to even change the time of the thyroid pill to a time where you're almost a little light on the stomach, but then you need to be careful and have it like in every 24 hours ka thing. You can have it sometime in the morning, sometime in the night, so because thyroid pills have a half-life. Okay, and therefore you need to have it at a set time, so you need to spare those 24 hours, but that can be moved around. All right, one, yeah. How much carb intake can you take? In a day. How much carb intake can I take? How much should I eat? What should be my protein intake? How much should I reduce my fat? It is high time that we stop talking of food as carbohydrate, protein and fat, and we start talking of food as food systems, farmer, trader, consumer. So eat food which grows around you, eat it in combinations that are traditionally passed down to you, because combinations which are traditionally passed down to you are invariably by default the right combinations of carbohydrate, protein and fat. While you're eating, do not watch TV, be with yourself so that you're consuming the right amount of carbohydrate and protein and fat. While you're eating, do not think of food as carbohydrate, protein, fat, because then you will do silly things like eating lesser rice and eating more vegetables so that you consume lesser carbohydrate, only to discover 10 years later that actually rice mein bahut sara lysine bhi tha aur bahut sara B vitamin bhi tha. So actually one of the reasons why I'm not getting my human growth hormone secretion could be because of this amino acid deficiency. So do not think of food as carbohydrate, protein, fat. Think of food as food systems. Farmer, trader, consumer, eat what is local, seasonal, fresh, patronize traditional meal combinations, and then you will be fit, and you will be fine, and you will be healthy, and you will be wealthy, and then you will no longer need to come for talks like this. How's that? Okay? But then you can still come and meet me. But thank you, I think we are done with time. Okay, there was one question here and one here, and one food that I recommend for small kids? Banana. Okay? Yes. Hi.
My boss has high blood pressure and he's following most of the things you said. 8 hours sleep, 6 meals and everything. But his blood pressure is not going down. Anything you would recommend?
Tell your boss to not talk to you on the smartphone in the night, and then your boss should be fine. So, regular practice of yoga, more specifically Iyengar yoga, if there is someone around, will help him get rid of his blood pressure. Okay? Alright. For all of you whose questions did not get answered, you can write to me at meetahar@gmail.com. Yeah, and we will try and answer all of these messages, all of your questions. Only ask one question. Don't ask more than one question. Okay, because then we only get overwhelmed. Then we will call you to tell the answer. At that time, ask the second one if there is another one. Okay, but don't ask too many because then it becomes really difficult. mitahar@gmail.com, and the subject should be crossword. Okay, or Goregaon. So then we can, what should the subject be? Okay, say Mumbai Open Day, then it becomes easy for us to like pick you up and answer your questions. So thanks a lot. Go home and eat home cooked food. Okay? Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Madam, paint your.
Few on the left hand side. Yeah, left hand side, please.